Good evening. I'd like to call the meeting to order at 7:01 p.m. We have one commissioner absent this evening, Commissioner Crane, and I'm sorry, Hudson. First of all, we'll go to citizen communication. The Planning and Zoning Commission welcomes comment on items relevant to the Planning and Zoning Commission not already scheduled on tonight's agenda. In accordance with the Texas Attorney General's opinion, any public comment that is made on an item that's not on the published agenda will only be heard by the Commission. No formal action, discussion, deliberation, or comment will be made by any commissioners. Each person providing public comment will be limited to 3 minutes and will be asked to state his or her name and address for the public record. We did have a couple of folks sign in wishing to address the Commission, and so I will call each of those folks up. First of all was Allison Thompson.
Hello, my name is Allison Thompson, 903 Rolling Meadow Drive, proud 11-year resident of Pflugerville. Let me preface my comments by saying these were true to me at the time of my writing. I understand some things may be a little bit different, not in my understanding at the time of writing these. Thank you, commissioners, for the opportunity to have my voice be part of the public record. Pflugerville has been in the news. Some good news, some bad news. Deutschenfest, good news. Serial killer, bomber in my precinct, bad news. Emily's smiling face promoting new City Hall and Rec Center groundbreaking, great news. DHS ICE facility protest, bad news. I'm here to speak against this ICE facility in our fair city, spelled with a PF. It seems to have bypassed our city's procedures and commissions, including planning and zoning, and I'm not sure we really know what will be happening in that facility. I drove by yesterday, 2200 Allgregg Street at 4:40 p.m. No cars were present, but irrigation system was in full force, and maybe no one told them we are in a drought, or maybe Manville isn't aware. I saw very high fences with razor wire. I was told this is a paper processing facility only. Are they afraid of a paper clip chain gang escaping or being showered with staplers and three-hole punches? But truly, this facility is very close to Roe Lane. Roe Lane. I can only imagine and feel sorry for the additional traffic that this facility will bring to that area. I am a member of St. Andrew's Presbyterian Church. We are a sanctuary church, and we host twice monthly food pantries. Many of our clients are from Pflugerville. Last week, our numbers were diminished. We are surmising that is out of fear of ice and not frozen precipitation, I mean by that. That broke our hearts. That's families that didn't get food, babies that didn't get diapers. Our next pantry is this coming Saturday, and we will see what our numbers are. I love this city. I love our staff. I love this commission. And I feel it is very important that we all get our voices on the record opposing this facility in our fair city, again with the PF. I encourage this commission to let your collective voice be heard as well. It might be unprecedented, but we are in unprecedented times. Thank you again for this opportunity to speak to you this evening.
Thank you. All right, the second person we had sign up this evening was Donald James.
Thank you, and just as a correction, it's Jones.
Jones.
J-O-N-E-S.
Apologies.
No problem. I am here today, well, first of all, I just live down the street by the fire department and at 301 South Railroad here in Pflugerville. I moved here a couple of years ago, and I settled in Pflugerville not knowing one thing about Pflugerville. But your water department puts out a newsletter, and I'm sure you're all aware of it. And it is filled with things that take care of this community. And I mean, they really give to this community, and they invite you to get involved in this community, and I love that. And as Allison just spoke, I'm also a member of St. Andrew's Presbyterian Church, and the pantry that we do every 2 weeks is very important to me. And we have fed historically over around 1,000 people every 2 weeks. And that's why I like the church. That's why I like this city. And I'm here today to stand in opposition to the ICE facility, plainly and putly, because this city is just totally different from that. It's just not the city, in my opinion. And I love this city. I'll probably be here the rest of my life because it's such a warm and giving community. And I appreciate the opportunity to talk tonight. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, those were the two citizens that had signed up. Was there anyone else, just in case you didn't realize that there was a sign-up sheet back there? Okay. All right, we'll move on with the agenda. Item number 3, the consent agenda. All matters listed under the consent agenda are considered routine by the commission and will be enacted by one motion. The items include preliminary and final plats where staff has found compliance with all minimum subdivision regulations. All items approved by consent are approved with any and all staff recommendations. There will not be separate discussion of these items, but if any commissioner wishes to discuss an item on the consent agenda, it can be pulled and moved to the regular agenda for further consideration. Are there any items that any commissioner wishes to remove from the consent agenda?
No.
All right, so we have 4 items on the consent agenda, so 3A, B, C, and D, which are all prior P&Z meeting minutes. So I'll accept a motion, a second to approve.
So moved.
Second.
All right, thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, motion passes. Thank you all. All right, moving on, we have public hearing palooza this evening. The commission welcomes comment on any of the following items. Each person providing public comment will be limited to 3 minutes and will be asked to state his or her name and address for the public record. Starting off first, we have 4A, which is an application to rezone an approximately 5-acre plot from agricultural reserve to single-family mixed use. And Kristen is here to present.
Yep, there we go. Alrighty. Good evening, Chair and Commission. Tonight we have the row loop rezoning, 2125 row loop rezoning. This property is located on the west side of Row Loop, north of the intersection with Row Lane. To the south of the property, we have a development currently being built called Row West, and to the east of it is Row East, and then further south is the Meadow at Blackhawk single-family subdivision, and to the north we have large estate lots with single-family detached homes on them. The property is approximately 5 acres and was annexed into the city in 2007, and at the time given the interim zoning of agricultural development reserve. The applicant is requesting to rezone the property to single-family mixed use tonight. So here we have a map showing all of the surrounding zonings. You'll notice on 3 sides of the subject property, the lots are zoned single-family mixed use with agricultural development reserve to the north. And then further along Row Loop, you'll notice the 2 recent rezonings for single-family residential at the very north end. The Aspire Pflugerville 2040 Comprehensive Plan, within it has the future land use map. On that land use map, this parcel is designated as traditional neighborhood, which is going to be primarily residential with some supporting commercial uses where appropriate. We have a list of potential uses for the property, which includes single-family small lot, all the way to neighborhood, mixed-use neighborhood scale, which is going to be your smaller, like coffee shops, dry cleaners, things like that, that would be appropriate. Within the comprehensive plan, there are Subchapter 8 talks about the neighborhood districts. This parcel is located within the Commons District. It is a primarily residential district that is north of Row Lane, east of SH 130, and then has the Hutto ETJ to the north. You'll notice along SH 130, FM 685 area, more commercial future land uses, and then it goes into the single-family suburban land use, which is going to be your Commons of Row Lane, the existing single-family detached homes on this property, and Steep Crossing to the north. The applicant is requesting to zone the property to single-family mixed use. This is considered a residential zoning district in the UDC with non-residential permitted with conditions. You'll see a list of land uses here that are permitted with conditions. These conditions speak to the size of that use on the property, where they can be located, such as at the intersection of two collector level or higher classified roads, and then also the buffer requirements between these non-residential uses and any single-family residential uses that it abuts. Staff has found that this request is consistent with the comprehensive plan and recommends approval of the rezoning from agricultural development reserve to single-family mixed use. We do have the applicant here tonight with a small presentation if they wish. They're also here to answer questions if the commission has questions for them. So Sam, you're welcome to come.
Great, thank
Yes.
you. Yeah, let's go ahead and have
Okay.
them come up if you don't mind. Thank you. We'll do the presentation
the
before we
little roll dial
open
here.
for comment.
If you just roll down, yours will be next.
Okay, cool. All right. Thank you, Kristen. Hi, everyone. Sam Fenwick. I'm with the developer, Row Lane Development. We're the developer of the Black Hawk community and a handful of other properties east of SH 130. You guys are familiar with the address. This will be very brief, just for a preview of what we'll discuss. So, Glades LLC is the single purpose entity that we created for this project. Our hope is to combine 2125 Row Loop with 1741 Row Loop, which is a 5-acre tract just to the west of the subject property, to develop a 10-acre, 49-unit single-family cottage court project. So we'll look at a few images here in a minute, but we think it's a really unique project with a large 2.3-acre courtyard in the middle, something that we hope that will facilitate walkability, connection between the future homeowners at the project, and just something that you don't see every day. Kind of a missing development type in Central Texas, at least that's what we've seen. There's quite a bit of this in the Northwest, but for whatever reason, Central Texas does not have much in the cottage court area. So that type of development is categorized as the missing middle, according to the Congress for New Urbanism. So New Urbanism, it's one of the Congress for New Urbanism is one of the leading walkable urbanism organizations in the country. So moving from kind of your, really Black Hawk, standard single family master plan communities to developments that just have a little bit more character, a little bit more walkability, thus the cottage court, with fully assembled design team that we're really excited about. We can shift now to some images, which I think tell the story a lot better than a bunch of text. So subject property, here's the property to the east, 1741 Row Loop. So this would become the 10-acre tract, 49 single-family detached condos. So this is the precedent project that we're modeling ours off. So this is 3rd Street Cottages, I believe in Kirkland, Washington. Obviously it's a different layout than what I'm about to show you, but it kind of gives you an example of, I guess, the look and the feel that we're going for, which, we're really drawn to this. We think it's cool. I hope you guys think it's cool. We think it'll be a really, really nice project. Here is the latest site plan. This is all very much in flux, so, this will change, but it is our latest drawing. You get a sense for the size of the common courtyard. We're going to spend a lot more money on landscaping than I think I would like to, but we want it to be really nice. Blackhawk is our backyard. We know the landowners in the Row Loop community. We want to be respectful to them and deliver just a really, really nice project, which I would like to think that we have the reputation of delivering high quality projects based on what we've done east of SH 130. But I just want to really hammer that point home that we're very much committed to quality design, because so much of what we do is in this part of town. We're not I guess fly-by-night developers where, hey, this is our only project and we live in Dallas. Our office is in Blackhawk. All of our projects are really in this part of town. So want to continue to enhance this part of Pflugerville. Lush landscaping, a courtyard that's 20% more or less of the entirety of the project, which just another example of our commitment to this being a differentiated single-family development. These are some actual renderings of the elevations from our architect, Kip Flores. I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with Kip Flores, but in our opinion, a very talented Central Texas-based architect. We like the idea of going with kind of pastel colors to create, a friendly vibe. We're going to have quite a bit of masonry on the front of these units. Most of the units will be alley access with respect to the garages, so that kind of creates a unique town center feel, as opposed to having all the garages and the driveways in the front. So kind of making that courtyard even more attractive, even more conducive to kind of interactions amongst the homeowners in the area. And yeah, that's it. I'm happy to answer questions now, later, but I'll take a seat until Kristen tells me what to do. Thank you.
So staff would like to remind the commission that while the applicant does have a project in mind for this, we are looking at zoning tonight and what's appropriate for this property. So when looking at zoning, we will be looking at all land uses in that zoning and whether they are appropriate for this parcel.
Thank you. Yeah, let's, I'm sure folks have comments and questions, but let's get through our public hearing portion, if there's anyone wishing to speak. Is there anyone wishing to speak on this item this evening? Sure, come on up. Yeah, that's fine.
Hi, my name is Beverly Darlak. I'm at 1948 Row Loop. We are very familiar with this project. We did meet with the developer. And I didn't plan on coming and speaking tonight because I thought I understood it. I thought it was going to be zoned as single family. I've seen that layout, but the multi-use kind of makes me a little concerned that if you change it to multi-use, then the options are way different than this beautiful, what is presented. And I'm very impressed by that. I've seen that layout. It looks like very well done. I know the developers and I trust them. I was just surprised about the multi-use.
Thank you.
Okay.
All right, unless there's anyone else wishing to speak on this, I'll accept a motion in a second to close the public hearing on this item.
So moved.
Second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. Public hearing is now closed on that, and we'll open it up for questions and comments.
I have a couple of comments. First of all, I just want to state in the public record how much I respect the development and the neighbors at Row Lane. You guys are really involved in your community, and you're also really understanding of the 2040 plan and the push and pull, and I just want to thank you for your involvement and your consistency in showing up, and also I really like your shirt. I also want to say that in previous meetings, I understand the concern with the multi-use. I will say that being here, we've had neighborhoods with these come before us with an undesirable business that's allowable by condition come and be denied. Because the number of types of commercial and retail that's allowable in these is really small scale. We're not talking Walmart, and we're definitely not talking liquor stores. I just want to say that on the record as well. I know that doesn't completely address it, but just for the record, you can also go back through our previous meetings and you can see where we've denied requested retail that was inappropriate for a neighborhood, being mindful of what people want to live next to and have their kids playing next to. That's all I have.
Yeah, it does remind me, I was looking back through the minutes as well from a couple of years ago, when a similar application came for, I think the property was just to the south of where it was, and this commission that I was on at the time voted unanimously to deny it, but then it was, I think, overruled by a supermajority on the city council, so that's how those properties came to be zoned the way they were. So I don't think my opinion has changed too much since then, but, and obviously anybody else who's here now is welcome to draw their own conclusion.
Yeah, I mean, I think that was my biggest concern when I was reviewing this case before the meeting as well. I think with this neighborhood in particular, it's kind of a matter of how far back is it appropriate for those commercial uses, right? Because the first row is already of lots is already SFMU, right? And so since those are already SFMU, and now we're adding two more lots, or well, one more, but with the plan with the developer, now I feel like you're getting pretty deep into the subdivision. So I am concerned, and again, I know you in your report you included the types of businesses that are allowed by right that would not necessarily have to come through us, as well as some with those limitations, which I appreciate you calling out, Amanda. I think that on the one hand, I think it would be difficult to build out some of those commercial uses given that location, as opposed to being on Real Lane. But yeah, that was definitely my biggest concern. On the other hand, I will also say I really appreciate the current plan, and I know that's not what we're voting on this evening, but I do think that housing affordability is one of Pflugerville's biggest issues that we need to be, as a community, working together to try to solve and find good solutions for. And I do think that Cottage Court is a great example of that. And I know we've got a couple of other developments in the city that are moving in that direction too. So I'm certainly a big fan of that type of development to get us more density on the residential side and improve affordability. Yeah, I'll pause there.
Can you go back to the slide that shows what's by right versus what's conditional?
I think by right is a golf course or a country club, which is probably not.
But it was also listed as conditional, and I was just like,
So on civic,
or the
on
civic,
civic uses
yeah.
is amenity center,
Yeah.
cemetery, museum or art gallery.
Yeah.
And then the commercial uses by right is golf course, country club. Limitations include a brew pub, bar, wine bar, daycare, cleaning with minor service, financial institution, health and fitness, massage therapy, licensed personal services, restaurant, retail sales and services.
and those are all conditional.
Permitted with conditions.
And this lot doesn't meet those conditions, if I understood correctly, because of
It's
being
ag
at
right
the intersection of two feeder or two throughways.
So Row Loop is a local road and Row Lane is classified as an arterial. One of the conditions is it must be at the intersection of two collector level or higher.
Yeah, it's not.
And it's not. So
Correct.
those conditional uses wouldn't meet the conditions even without us voting on it. Okay.
So that means they wouldn't
So
be
then-
available for an SUP?
No, they're listed as conditional and must meet the conditions to be permitted.
But
If
in
they
this
were
case, they
admitted by
wouldn't be.
SUP, they would come before you again. But these uses are conditional.
So we've got golf course by right, and what was the other churches and?
Government facility, playground, school, and then on the residential side, condominium, single family attached, townhome, single family detached.
Okay,
So,
so, And the conditions aren't met for the commercial, really.
Correct, because it's not on,
So I guess that begs the question, why are we going for an SFMU on this?
Right.
If they would not actually be eligible to have any of those.
is there a way to go with something else? That was gonna be my
Right.
question. Why do we have to do SFMU?
So there is y'all can vote to down zone the property to another zoning district that's less intensive than this one,
But
Um,
to recommend.
What would be
But
the
still
implications for
allow-
the current plan if we did that?
Right.
So SFR is single-family residential, which is detached homes with attached garages or detached garages, right? And then SFMU allows for condominium. Is that effectively the difference?
It allows for correct.
Okay.
It allows for the condominium.
So it would allow
as
for the
well as
cottage.
attached townhomes.
So it would allow for what the developer needs with SFR.
I feel like the
No,
current.
SFR doesn't allow condos.
Oh, it
correct?
doesn't.
It's no,
Yeah,
they
I
would
feel
have
like
to.
the current proposal meets the need of the plans, and the things that we're concerned about wouldn't meet the conditions, so they wouldn't be an issue. So
I think if I could just point
Yes,
out
please.
too,
Yeah, could you, yeah, could you do some?
master's in
Yeah.
this and more
The-
experience than me?
I would just state that while you're considering uses, zoning just doesn't articulate what the uses are. It also dictates development regulations such as
Yeah.
setbacks between buildings and those types of things. And so while you might have a variety of housing options in both a single-family residential to a single-family condominium, it's the development regulations in between that really kind of can also set apart different zoning districts. And so you do have the option as a commission to recommend something more restrictive, like Kristen stated, like the single-family residential. But to say that this exact project, where you were to remove any commercial, would be workable in single-family residential, I doubt that that's been fully
Right.
analyzed based on the images shown, that it would be viable in that district.
Yeah, if you'd like, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be great, thank you. I would imagine you all considered some options
Yeah,
here.
so
Yeah.
just some context behind the SFMU. I mean, we have no desire to do commercial, and our understanding was exactly what Amanda and Kristen just discussed, that because we weren't at the intersection, we cannot do commercial. And based on the plan that was presented, our understanding, assuming we read the code right, was that SFMU was kind of call it the least
Onerous, restrictive?
yeah, that would allow us to achieve the cottage court plan. So I can't speak definitively, but I'm almost positive that we could not accomplish that plan with SFR. I don't know if that's impervious cover or what the exact regulation was, but I remember going through the code with our civil engineer, with our architect, and just saying, okay, what is kind of the minimum viable product from a zoning category to allow us to achieve this cottage court plan? So just wanted to, offer that up.
So I think it makes sense for the plan that was presented tonight to use this zoning, and also I think this zoning minimally risks disruption to the neighborhood by commercial or retail should something happen and you guys all win the lottery and decide to close shop and somebody else comes along to develop it. I think this is still a low risk for undesirable activities in the neighborhood.
Right, I think anything else would, right, it'd be up against the same limitations, right? So like I'll say worst case, but the absolutely opposite end of the pendulum on this, right, is that the other properties that do face row get purchased and replatted as one parcel that is all then zoned SFMU.
But it's really just those two intersections is where they're really going to be able to
Correct,
do
which is
it.
at the
Right.
front. Right.
Right.
And I
And
don't
one of
think
them's
it's
developed or in the process.
of being developed.
Yeah.
So on the definition here, just to
Yeah, could you-
Thank you.
state this, in the zoning code, SFR may be used to master plan large, low density residential subdivision with an opportunity for mixture of lot sizes. And then SFMU is, this district is intended to address small lots, single-family detached, single-family attached townhomes. This
these are
district
like-
may be used in areas of 20 acres or less.
Yep. I'm ready to make a motion unless someone else wants to talk.
I just want to say one last thing. It feels like a distinction that maybe we should have
We
our
get
consultants
forget.
looking at the EDC to potentially, if they're still around, of whether there's opportunity to make this a little bit more clear in the future, given this is a type of development that we want to encourage in Pflugerville, we should make sure that it is clearly understandable by all parties what exactly can be done and how this should work. Because I think, the next one that comes through may not be.
Calling out the conditions, I think, would be helpful. I mean,
Right.
you did mention them, but I think calling out, these are the conditions for these other things to happen. However, the location of this parcel is likelihood. Yeah, because it is extremely unlikely that another through street is going to go in there, but never
Yeah.
say never, I guess.
All right, I'll entertain a motion.
Wait, we have some stuff down
you
here.
had some- I'm sorry.
Yeah, sorry. I have just some maintenance questions.
Yeah.
A learning moment. So I see in the staff report, there's 3 separate categories. Permitted by right, which it sounds like that's something that would not have to come to this commission. It would be allowable due to the zoning. Permitted with limitations, which is what you guys, I think, were referring to as conditional as well. So it's conditional
Yes.
with limitations. And that means that it would have to come to the commission, but it would be allowable to come to the commission?
Right.
As long as there's certain
Or-
conditions
Well, no,
met.
it wouldn't meet the condition, so it wouldn't even come to us. It would
So
be
conditional
declined.
uses are permitted to,
If they meet the conditions.
if they meet the
They don't have to come
conditions
here.
You don't
listed
have
in
to
the
come
UDC.
here. Right, okay,
Correct.
Have to
so,
meet the
so if they
conditions.
meet the conditions, they are treated as a permitted by right.
Correct.
If it, yeah,
So then if it does not meet the conditions, then it would come here, it would not be allowed at all. It would have to come here.
If,
no, it wouldn't come here.
If they could
Yeah.
bring it as an exception, but
no,
I've
we
not-
don't do
no,
variances to
we don't.
zonings
This
if they don't
isn't
meet the
a-
condition.
Right.
We don't usually allow the
Okay.
use
Yep.
to.
And then specific use permit required, what is that category?
So that is going to be an additional permit. It's a zoning permit that would come before the commission and city council for approval. It's more in depth than zoning. They would provide a concept of what they're looking to do on the property, and you would get a chance to see more in depth of what that use would look like on that property, and approve it or deny it, or recommend approval or denial to city council, who would ultimately be the one who would approve or deny it.
Thank you. I had an unrelated question, okay. So I see the notification map, and I think it seems like universally every time we've had, or the last 2 meetings, every time we've had, I've only been in 2 meetings, it's been a 500-foot radius. Whenever you're surrounded by empty parcels like this, is there ever a consideration to kind of expand that notification or to change it to where instead of it being a radius, it's instead radiating downwards to notify more adjacent properties of what's happening, or is it kind of a set rule that the notification can't be?
So state law states that we are required to notify property owners within 200 feet of the entire boundary. The city of Pflugerville takes that a bit further, and we do 500 feet. But it's going to be in a straight line out from the property in all directions. We don't modify that so that we can notify more people if, say, one parcel is large and vacant.
Okay.
Another comment just for everybody. So, if you look at the SFR zoning definition, so a condominium is allowed in SFR so long as the condominium component consists of no more than 10% of the plan. So it'd have to be 90% single-family detached. And so on a 10-acre site, trying to put 50 units, 49 units on it, it'd be really, really hard. Detached housing and independent driveways and things like that. And then the rest of the definition is everything that y'all have already covered, which is you can't really do commercial stuff there because of the fact it doesn't meet the other minimum standards.
right.
So it's appears to be the appropriate zoning.
does
Thank you,
yeah.
staff,
It does.
for your excellent work.
it's like we have amazing staff in the planning department here in Pflugerville.
Yeah.
Although I would think that condo mainly applies to like the land ownership scheme. Is that correct? Rather than like the actual development restrictions for the buildings?
Standalone homes can be condos.
Right, yeah.
The lot size is the bigger issue with the
Right.
difference between these two.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it seems like an SFR, for example, like the 10% condo restriction is there. I think it's more of a limitation on kind of like how it's developed and how it's owned rather than the size of the lots. Because I think the lot areas are still in effect based on the SFR versus SFMU for kind of more density on the SFMU side.
No, I think you can get a smaller lot on SFMU.
Right, that's what I mean.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. You'd be allowed to do more dense
Correct.
development on MU.
So additional note is that according to SFR districts, the minimum lot size shall be 9,000 square feet. And if you take 10 acres and divide it by 49, it's 8,800.
SFR is 9.
SFR right here. 9,000 square feet. Lot area, not resident area.
No, I was reading 10 to 50 acres is 7,500, but maybe I'm
I'm ready to make a motion. We've got a long agenda.
Yeah.
I move to approve.
Second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
No.
One opposed, motion passes. Thank you all very much. All right, item 4B, to receive public comment and consider an application to rezone a .0826 acre tract of land known as the Town of Pflugerville subdivision from single-family suburban to neighborhood services.
No, I know, I'm joking. Right.
Good evening, everyone.
Difficult to get
Tonight's
through.
rezoning request is for 308 North First Street. The subject property is located at the southwest corner of North First Street and East Wilberger Street. We are right next door to the State Farm office. We are catty corner to the St. Augustine's Orthodox Church, and we are about a block away from the existing City Hall. The applicant's request tonight is to rezone from single-family suburban to neighborhood services. You can see on the map on the right, the property right now is the single-family suburban, as is the property behind it to the west, and then to the south is that State Farm office, zone office, and then across the street we have retail. So the site is 0.0826 acres in size with a current single-story 818 square foot home. The intent of the rezoning is to utilize the existing structure for personal services. This is an establishment which offers specialized goods or services that are purchased frequently. This may be something like a barbershop or a nail salon or a beauty store. When this request first came in, staff took a look at the comprehensive plan in relation to the downtown district overlay, an attempt to have a comp plan that better reflects the trends and goals of the development plan. As you may recall, last month the Planning and Zoning Commission voted in favor to amend the comprehensive plan. For these select tracts here, going from suburban residential to mixed-use neighborhood. The property that we're looking at, the 308, is circled there in the red. This was further approved by the City Council on their January 18th meeting. They voted in favor. The mixed-use neighborhood district incorporates different uses such as office, retail, commercial, and residential all in one area. And by having a mix of uses in proximity for development, allows us to be more walkable than traditional commercial developments. The request to rezone to neighborhood services would be in line and help achieve these goals. Further, part of the 2040 comprehensive plan, this is also part of the subject property is part of the central neighborhood district. And some of the aspirational goals for this specific district include emphasizing the development of locally owned businesses and emphasizing walkability in the district. Again, the proposed request would assist in both of those goals. So the neighborhood service district is established as a limited retail category intended for use by residents by the nearby neighborhood for purposes of supplying day-to-day needs and personal services. After looking at the property and discussing it with the applicant, staff have determined that neighborhood services would be the most appropriate zoning district. The office zoning district does not allow for personal services, and the retail zoning allows for additional uses that may not be appropriate at the neighborhood level. And additionally, by this property being the neighborhood service, that would help transition as you're going from residential homes and getting to more intense development as you get closer to either Railroad or Main Street in the downtown area. Staff recommends approval of the rezoning request from single-family suburban to neighborhood services. Staff is here to answer any questions that you may have. The applicant is here as well. Since I submitted the staff report, I got one email and one phone call pertaining to this request. I think there was just a little bit of concern of what was going on. Being that the comp plan came in recently, some people were under the impression that multiple properties may be rezoning, and I explained to them, or tried to my best to explain to them that the only zoning that would be changing tonight would be this specific property, and they didn't have any formal objections.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Is there anyone from the public wishing to speak on this item? Okay, come on up.
Good evening, everyone. My name is April Kearney. I am the proud owner of 308 North 1st Street in Wahlburger. And I am a business owner in Pflugerville over the last 20 years at 401 West Pecan Street. I'm a cosmetologist and trichologist, and I actually specialize in high sensory safe locations. This beautiful property that we have invested in, my husband and I'm excited to be able to bring sensory safe services to our high functioning autistic women in the area because they don't have a safe space to go. The importance of this property is that it stay community. We love the residential feel of 308 North 1st Street. And our intention is not to change the aesthetics of this 1950s vintage style, pier and beam, beautiful built home. We just need to turn it into a safe place to provide our services. As far as the concern for that corner and the traffic, the sensory safe community, it's a little bit different of a type of service. It's more of a family-oriented style, like inviting them into my home. And if I could invite them into my home, because I'm a current resident of Pflugerville, I totally would, as well as each of you. But I needed to have another location that I could call home, that I could cultivate an environment that was safe, that would be adequate enough to meet the city standards, as well as the needs of this high sensory community that I serve. I'm the only one in Austin and the surrounding areas that serves this community, and I am really excited to be able to bring to them something that would be something that they could call their own. Our intentions for this corner is also to provide services for wellness and a wellness store. That wellness store just teaches high sensory clientele how to properly care for their beauty from the inside out. And so I'll have a herb garden on the outside where I can teach them about how to cook. And also those same herbs are tinctures that I use in connection with a lot of the services that I provide for my clientele. So I'm just asking for this property to be rezoned so that we could be able to truly be a neighborhood service within walking distance from our beautiful downtown, now east transition of the future use property. I know it's going to be an amazing addition to downtown Pflugerville. And with me being a business owner in Pflugerville, within walking distance from my now new property, I absolutely know that it's going to be an amazing addition. So I just wanted to let you all know a personal feel. This is my first time. I don't know if it was appropriate as far as what I presented, but it was my heart. And I definitely just wanted you guys to hear from me because I am the proud owner and I would love for this to be a part of our community. So thank you for your time.
Thank you. Is there anyone else wishing to speak this evening? All right, I'll entertain a motion to close the public hearing.
So moved.
Second.
Aye.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, public hearing is now closed. Comments?
It's just the lot that's circled in red, right? 'Cause and on another map, it showed like the L.
It's just
Just that
this lot here.
Okay. Makes sense.
Are we ready to vote?
I think so. I'll make a motion to approve as is.
Second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, motion passes. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Public hearing palooza continues with item 4C for a public hearing to consider an application to replat Lot 1, Block A, in order to create two lots consisting of 2.51 acres, generally west of Weiss Lane and north of Aventura. And Kristen's back up. Thank you.
Alrighty, good evening, Chair and Commission. So tonight, the request is to replat Lot 1, Block A of the Pflugerville Industrial Subdivision. This was originally platted as Lot 1 of the industrial park just to the south of here in 2017. It is locally addressed as 1801 Weiss Lane and currently has a gas station and a retail shell located in the rear of the property. The applicant is asking to replat the property into two different lots, one for the gas station and one for the retail shell location in the back. The staff has found that it meets minimum state and local requirements and is recommending approval of the replat.
All right, thank you. Does anyone wish to speak on this item from the public? Seeing none, I'll entertain a motion to close the public hearing.
Seconded.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, public hearing is closed. Comments, questions on this item?
I mean, there's two
Yeah.
entrances and two exits, or are they going to share their own?
So they will share an entrance off of Weiss Lane, and there is currently a joint use access agreement for that entrance for both lots.
So to make sure I heard everything correctly, there's a gas station there now?
Correct. Lot 1A is a current gas station, and Lot 1B has a retail shell building on it that is currently leasing for new retail.
Oh, so they're trying to split it so they can separate the two, I guess? Understood.
Is that dotted line the floodplain or an underground structure?
So the one on the north side of the property is going to be a drainage easement that has been previously platted, and the small rectangle at the south, or the planned southwest corner, is the other half of that joint use access easement that exists on Lot 1A today.
Okay.
Motion approved as drafted?
Second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, motion passes. Thank you. All right, next one up, 4D. This is that was, yes. Right? Yes. This is the next one. To replat Lot 1, Block A of Withwards Hill Farm, Section 1, which is a 4.1 acre tract of land.
So this is a piece of property that is located at the northeast corner of Dessau Road and East Oxford, locally addressed as 600 East Oxford. It was platted in 2006 as a commercial property. The applicant is looking to replat the property into 3 lots for future development. Lot 1A and Lot 2A would be for commercial development, and Lot 3 would be the detention to serve that future development. It meets local and state requirements, and staff is recommending approval.
Is there anyone here from the public wishing to speak on this item tonight? Seeing none, I'll entertain a motion to close the public hearing.
So moved.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, public hearing is closed. Comments, questions? This one
Just-
seems pretty straightforward as well, but yeah,
Wait,
go for it.
I just have a general question. So is it some type of development standard to have a separate lot that's specific to detention ponds? Why they're deciding to do a 3A that's specific to a detention pond? I was just curious.
I have the same question. So.
Oh, okay.
There's not a development standard that requires detention to be on a separate lot. When looking at detention, staff would prefer that it be on the same lot so to maintain the maintenance of it. There is a maintenance agreement for this future pond that states that the property owners of 2A and 1A will be required to upkeep that pond.
Oh, so instead of it being on 2A, which would then imply that 2A would be responsible for maintenance in it, having it as a separate lot requires for both to take responsibility for maintenance?
Well, Lot 1A would actually have to have a detention pond, Lot 2A would have to have a detention pond, and Lot 3, which is hardly big enough to have a detention and retail, I mean, to me, it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, I mean, I guess.
I would love, this is a great, in my opinion.
Yeah,
They don't
I mean, in
always
that
have to have a
scenario, you
detention
could.
pond. They just have to have
Yeah,
a
it's pretty-
flood management.
Yeah, but it's rare to not have a detention pond.
Yeah, I mean, they could still form an agreement even.
Correct,
but-
yeah. Typically, there's maintenance agreements with shared detention ponds, and so also with joint access easements, there's usually an agreement on that too.
Is that maintenance agreement part of their application? Or a requirement from the city?
It will be with their commercial site planning and the construction plans that are required to extend water and wastewater to each one of these lots.
Who oversees the maintenance? I mean, obviously it's up to the two parties, but does the city have a
We have an
authority
environmental team that regularly inspects stormwater infrastructure throughout the city to make sure that city-owned property is being upkept as well as private.
Have we mentioned that we love this city?
motion approve as written?
Second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? No. All right, motion passes. Thank you very much. All right, we have one more. Item 4E, this is a replat
Yeah,
of
TCEQ
Lot
takes a lot
3H
of-
in the Renewable Energy Park.
I know,
And
I know. I
Kristen,
just met two of them the
you're
other
up
day.
again.
Alrighty. So this is to replat a lot that is at the existing terminus of Impact Way. The property is currently owned by PCDC. It is being replatted to dedicate more right-of-way to Impact Way so that Impact Way can be extended through the properties to the south to Cameron Road. It meets state and local requirements, and staff is recommending approval.
Thank you. And is anyone from the public wishing to speak on this item?
Move to close.
Second?
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, public hearing is closed. Any
Move to
comments?
approve.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, motion passes. Thank you very much. Before we close out, I did just want to thank staff again for public hearing Palooza tonight. The staff reports were very strong, which they always are, but there's a lot of details, and appreciate you all answering our questions and
Here,
and
here.
doing a fantastic work.
I want to say thanks to the community. Thank you.
And the audience, right? Yeah, exactly.
And thank you to the staff too for being able to answer our weird questions on the spot.
Yeah,
with
thank you.
grace.
All right, adjourn the meeting at 7:53. Thank you all.
Thank you.